Hi everybody, in this video I want to tell you about Summertime Bingo, which is created by Lindsey at Lindsey's Little Library and Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand. They have fantastic channels. I love both of their channels and probably you do too, but if you have never heard of them, check them out because they're fantastic. Hello and welcome to Book Talks with Miss Thomas. I'm Miss Thomas and this is Truffles. I guess she's too cool for you right now. Truffles, say hi. Say hi. I want to tell you about my summertime bingo board. I'm probably going to do this summertime bingo at least one more time because there's so many fantastic things on this bingo board that just sound like so very much fun to me. Make sure, I think the camera's over here. Truffy. I'm such a brat. Okay, so let me tell you about... I'm going to go down this time. I'm going to talk about a backlist book. I haven't decided which backlist book to read. There is Kingsbury, which I've had on my bookshelf. I bought it last year in the Outer Banks, or Evanovich, Under the Table. I wonder if this is Janet Evanovich's sister or relative. I love a book about restaurants. I love the idea of someone trying to make it as a chef, you know, or a cook. I think that's what this book is about. Not real sure. I bought it, like I say, last year at the beach. Same sale. I bought them both together, same sale. And Kingsbury, this one sounds really creepy. It's about this guy and his wife dies and he really misses his wife and he finds out she had a twin. So he, I guess, wants to get to know this twin. And I think it's going to be creepy. Someone Like You by Kingsbury. And I'm not sure if this is the same Kingsbury who has a reputation for being a pretty good Christian author from what I hear. So I will definitely get to this summer. I don't know when, but I would definitely do it for my summertime bingo. My new to you author and my trip to the library are, I filmed them already and I'm gonna just stick them in here. And you will, see me at the library and you will hear what I think of my new to me author, who was Terri Blackstock. She wrote a series. She wrote a couple of books and I have another book called Predator, which I'm going to try. But the first book I ever read by Terri Blackstock was, I think, it was either If I Stay, If I Run, or If I'm Found. I can't remember, but it's number 2 in that series, and I have a review of that. So I'm going to edit my video, and you're going to hear about that. So let's get to it. Hello, everyone. So I wanted to do the summertime bingo. It's not a tag, I don't know what exactly, a readathon maybe, summertime bingo. And one of the things on the bingo board is to go to your library. And I thought it was funny, look out there. That's the window of my library. And last time I filmed at the library, there was a springtime picture or painting, if you will, on the window. So they are ready for summer. There's an ocean, it says Oceans of Possibilities. I hope I was able to film that for you. But anyway, so that is the summer illustration and I am at my library for the summer readathon bingo. So while I'm at my library doing the summer bingo readathon, let me just tell you, I'm also listening to a book called Hello Summer by Mary Kay Andrews. She's sort of my summertime go-to, and that is an audio book that I got from the library, and it's the Libby app if anyone's interested. I think a commenter did ask me. I am just recently new to the Libby app and I'm loving it. So So Hello Summer is I've just started it. I don't know a lot about it, but I do enjoy Mary Kay Andrews for summer fluff. And it's the story of a girl who thought she had the career of a lifetime as a newspaper reporter in Washington, D.C. when the company went bankrupt. And so before she even started, she lost her job, which was unfortunate because she'd already quit her other job and rented out her apartment. So she's going back home with her tail between her legs, and she's got this angry sister back home who is really mad at her because she hasn't been around much. And she's got this sort of eccentric grandma who drinks too much, and the sister says her health is failing, and she wants to take her grandma to the beach house that they're used to spending their summers in, a really special beach house, but they haven't gone there yet. So I've just started that one. I am enjoying it. I know I will love it, and I'll tell you more about it later. I just finished If I'm Found by Terri Blackstock, and I've heard wonderful, wonderful things about Terri Blackstock. I know people love Terri Blackstock and they say how fantastic she is. I have a mixed review of this book. Now, first of all, it's number 2 in a series. It sounds like it's 3 books. I think it's If I Run, If I'm Found, and then the other one I think is If I Stay or If I Live or something. Let me see real quick. Don't you hate that? I always go to film and then I remember, oh, I don't know the name of the third book because I haven't read it yet, obviously. I just finished this one. And this one happens to be large print. That's just, I don't know about you guys, but I have found that it's easier sometimes to get a hold of a hot book if it's in large print. I don't know. I don't know if your libraries default to large print when you're on a waiting list, but I don't think mine does. And so if I request large print, sometimes I get books a little bit faster. So let me take my glasses off. I feel like they're too tinted. If I'm Found is the story of Casey Cox, and she is on the run because she has been framed for the murder of her best friend, who I think was a journalist. Now, all that happened in the first book. So in this one, it begins with her on the run and it ends with her on the run, which I really found very frustrating. So I know people love Terri Blackstock's books, and I know I've talked to so many people. I have that friend at church who loans me books, and she said, oh, I love this series. And I do say I enjoyed it. I read it from cover to cover in one day. It was well written. It was an engaging text. It was a page turner, but I was unsatisfied because it's a series about a girl on the run. And so really nothing was resolved in the book, and that bothered me a lot. And the other thing is Casey Cox, while she's on the run, she tends to get mixed up in other situations. It sounds like in the first book, there was a girl who was kidnapped and she rescued the girl from her kidnappers. And so in this book, she's on the run, same crime, framed for killing her best friend. And there's this detective who is hired to track her down by the boy's family that she killed, the reporter, the friend that she killed. He was very wealthy. And so his family hires a detective to track her down. And he apparently let her go in the first book. And in this book, there's suspicion of him because he let her go. And there's these police officers who are also trying to catch her, and they say it's because she's a fugitive on the run, but really they're the crooked cops who most likely killed this friend of hers. And while she is on the run from these crooked cops and from the people who believe she murdered her friend, she encounters this poor little girl. Well, it's actually more, let me see. First, she encounters a Bible. She goes to a hotel and there's a Bible in there, but it's not the Gideon Free Bible. That's underneath, I suppose. On top is a Bible that belongs to someone. And she finds what looks like a suicide note. This man is writing a letter to his wife saying he just couldn't take it anymore and he's so sorry, but he had to kill himself. And she is, horrified, and she's looking for this man, and she does track him down, and she realizes he hasn't yet killed himself. So she sort of gets her way into his life. She ends up working at the place where he works and tries to befriend him. And we come to find out that he was wrongly accused of sex abuse. And she starts to really look into that, and she discovers that this poor little girl has been sexually abused, but not by this particular man. And so she becomes very concerned with this girl's safety and trying to help this girl. And of course, that's a mystery in and of itself. And you want to find out, could this man actually be guilty? I knew he probably wasn't guilty. So who is? And will, he find the real predator? Will he find justice? Will the little girl find safety? So that was sort of a plot that was running parallel to Casey's being on the run. And I found that frustrating too, because she kept throwing herself into harm's way to protect this little girl. And while that's lovely and kind and sweet, I found it a little frustrating. I wanted to say, obviously I can't say to a character in a book, but don't you sometimes just want to say to the character, you want them to hear you, and you want to say, seriously, do you really think you're single-handedly going to rescue this little girl when you are yourself on the run? I found that a little bit hard to buy into. So, but it was well written. It was a page turner. There was a lot of action in the book, and there was that relationship with the detective who, is hunting her down, but believes that she is in fact innocent. And then she has this relationship with her sister and her mother at home. She tries to communicate with her sister, who also believes that she's innocent. And it's just so sad because she's on the run for this crime and she misses her family. And, I really do feel badly for her. And she's obviously a very good person and wants to help this poor little girl. The faith content was very good. It was actually exceptional faith content. The detective is a Christian and Casey is not. And so he tries to witness to her, and she decides maybe he's onto something, and that's why she reads the Bible in the hotel room. And then there are passages where she tries to go to church as a fugitive on the run in church. And she changes her appearance, obviously colors her hair, gets some wigs. But she's definitely seeking the Lord throughout the book, and she does come to faith throughout the book, toward the end of the book, I guess. Maybe more in the middle, but her faith grows a bit. So Terri Blackstock, If I'm Found is the second book. I didn't read the first one. I haven't read the third one. I might read the third one because I did enjoy it, but I didn't like that there was a lack of closure at the end. At the very end of the book, she's still on the run. And that was frustrating for me. But the story with the little girl who was being molested, that was sad. And, I really did care about the little girl. I will say that too. It was interesting about the little girl. It won't make the Philippians 4 list because even though the violence against the little girl was not depicted too specifically, I actually had a nightmare about it. I really did, because the pain in her face and the descriptions of her hiding and cowering and running and being afraid and upset was very disturbing for me. So I would call that a trigger warning. If I'm Found by Terri Blackstock, the little girl who was repeatedly molested in the book was disturbing for me, even though I am grateful to say that the book did not really go into a lot of detail. The way in which the little girl was described in her state of victimization was very upsetting. But the book itself, it did have a lot of action, a lot of faith content, a very rich plot. Enjoyable characters, and like I say, it's really highly lauded by a lot of people. So you may enjoy Terri Blackstock's series. This one is If I'm Found. The first one is If I Run. Okay. So next, I want to tell you about a book with water on the cover. I read Rain, Rain, Move It, Truff. Rain, Rain. And I really loved that book. I returned it already to the library, but it was really good. And it was recommended by Krista at Books and Jams. And I did a Krista Made Me Read It video. Or no, I did it. It'll come on Friday. I'm going to post that Friday. So that has water on the cover. You'll hear all about that Friday. And then I also read Hello Summer, which I talked about a little bit when I was outside of the library, but I have finished that. That was an audiobook, and that was by Mary Kay Andrews. Now, Mary Kay Andrews is not my number one most favorite author, but she's definitely up there. Like, I have different, I guess I'm a mood reader, and I like summertime reads, beach reads, and she's definitely one of my favorite summertime beachy reads. Mary Kay Andrews and Nancy Thayer. I like them both in the summer a lot. So Hello Summer is a really great book. I finished it. I got the audio, and that's the story of a girl, Conley, who goes back to her hometown because she wants to be this great reporter, and she thought she had the job of her dreams, and the company folded right before she started. So she went back to her hometown where her family owns like a small town newspaper, and it's being run by her sister. I really enjoyed the sister tension, the relationship between the sisters. I love books where, women have to figure out how to be friends. And so it was about, sisters grappling with their rivalry and their conflicts with each other, and then resolving and realizing that they do in fact love each other and have a great sisterly relationship by the end. I enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite aspects of the book. There was a little bit of mystery to it. There was just a little bit of romance and a lot of beach setting and just fun family dynamics. It's called Hello Summer because there was this horrible newspaper columnist named Rowena, and she was this elderly woman in these like velour tracksuits and polyester business suits who, is really past her time, but she doesn't want to accept it. And she carries around this dog in a bag or a basket. I think it was a bag everywhere she goes. And she's just horrible. She's one of those characters that you love to hate. She was funny, but she was awful too. And she writes this column called Hello Summer for the family small town newspaper. And Rowena is just a real piece of work, and her articles are, very dated. She talks about what everyone's wearing and what the places that she goes to look like instead of really reporting the news. And I got a kick out of that. I liked the character of Rowena. So that would be a book by one of my favorite authors. And that one also happens to have water on the cover. So move it, Truff. I'll put that one up too. Hello Summer by Mary Kay Andrews. The audiobook has water on the cover. I don't think the actual book, I think has sand on the cover. And then there's another, I have this favorite author. I did this video on, my new favorite author is Carrie Stuart Parks. So I haven't read this, but I bought this from Thrift Books, and I'm excited to read this, Woman in the Shadow by Carrie Stuart Parks. So that's another favorite author, definitely. So I'm going to read that one too. I'm going to do a separate video for an audiobook that I've just started listening to, and I'm really enjoying it, but it also has water on the cover. And that is Death by Beach Read. I think it's called Death by Beach Read, and the author is Eva Gates. And I wanted to mention that because I wanted to share, I learned from watching other booktubers that there is something called NetGalley, and I've discovered NetGalley. It's a website, and I applied. I think book lover Amanda said, she likes NetGalley, and if you get turned down for one, just keep going. So I applied for a ton of books on NetGalley, and the first book to reach out to me and allow me to listen to their audiobook for free in exchange for a review is Death by Beach Read by Eva Gates. And I do want to say thank you. I'm not getting paid or anything like that, and my opinion is entirely my own. I will give it a separate review I'm expecting it to be a positive review. I've only gotten through the first 2 chapters, but I am really enjoying it. It's a great book about a girl who she and her fiance have bought a house in, I think it's Nag's Head in the Outer Banks, and it's a real beautiful old house, but it's a fixer-upper, and so they're in the process of fixing it up. And there seems to be a bit of a ghost story in there, and I'm anticipating a mystery and some wonderful characters. She goes into the library, and there's this, you know, there's some kooky characters in the library. One is like this elderly sea captain that sold her the house. And there's this cat, Charles, named after Charles Dickens. And you know me, I love a good book with a cat and shorter truffles. So with that, I hope you're out there reading and having a wonderful time. I want to thank very much the wonderful ladies who have created Summertime Bingo, and Lindsey and Sarah. So thank you so much for Summertime Bingo. I'm really looking forward to it. And this is my first video for Summertime Bingo, and I hope to do some more. Thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.
I like the summer, but I really like to eat the shrimps during the summers. I like shrimp.